and welcome to episode 4 of the Dunkelgrun podcast. This is a podcast about knitting, textile crafts and fiber arts. My name is Anna and today is March 27th, 2017 and I am coming to you from Zurich in Switzerland. In the info box below this video you can find links to my Instagram, to the dunkelgrun ravelry group and also to my brand new website dunkelgrun.com, where you can find the show notes for this episode. So welcome and thank you for joining today for this new episode of the podcast. I am very happy to be back. And apart from some knitting works in progress, I have some exciting logwood dyeing to share with you today. First things first, we have a giveaway winner to announce for the 500 subscriber giveaway. I am really sorry that it took so long until I could podcast again and announce this winner. So the prize is this lovely 50-gram skeins of sock yarn that I dyed for the occasion of this giveaway. So the prompt for the giveaway was that you should share with us your association with the color dark green. I really loved your responses. Some people were so creative and poetic, and this thread is really inspirational, and some really unexpected things have been associated with the color, and everything was so beautiful. So thank you very much for sharing that. And now we're gonna see who is gonna be the winner. I have the random.org website loaded here on my phone. And we have 108 entries, so I am going to choose a winner between 2 and 108. And the number that wins is number 46. Let's see who that is. Number 46 is wingtx, and she wrote, "Hi Anna, you are a joy to listen to and I love your podcast and your cat Lila. I live in the piney woods of East Texas on a small acreage and spend days outside with my animals and my knitting surrounded by every hue of green and brown. I have not tried dyeing, but you're inspiring me. Many thanks for your podcast." You're welcome! Thank you so much for your lovely comment, and I am very happy to be able to send this out to you. So please, I could not find your name on your profile. wingtx, please get in touch with me. Send me a message on Ravelry or on Instagram or wherever you like, and send me your address so that I can send it to you. Also, we have another giveaway going on right now, and this is another skein of sock yarn that I dyed. And this giveaway will only run until tomorrow, unfortunately, March 27th. Today is March 26th. I said March 27th in the beginning. I am sorry. Today is March 26th, tomorrow is March 27th, and you can win this skein of sock yarn in a giveaway on Instagram. So check out my Instagram and find the post of this yarn to see what you have to do there. So let's get started today. Unfortunately, I don't have any FOs this week. I am sorry, but I have decided to show you one of my older projects from the knitting shelves, so to say, the hand knit shelves. And this is this little shawl here, which is something very special. So let me show that to you. So this is a top-down crescent-shaped shawl that I improvised. And of course you can see that this is hand-spun yarn, and this fiber that I used for spinning this yarn is something quite special. It was waste from the top production. So when the spinning mill combs the fiber to produce top, in the end they have always some waste left over, and I was able to get some of that. It's not so easy to get. I got it from a friend of mine here in Switzerland, but I will show you how it looks like. It looks like this. It's just some fuzzy messy fiber, and this here is camel and silk. I believe it's 70% camel and 30% silk. And you can see that the silk has some of those knots and knobs in it, so it is not so easy to spin a consistent yarn out of that. But what I did is I dyed it, and then I carded rolags of it with my hand carders, and I plied the singles with a silk thread so to create a spiral yarn. I will insert a picture of that yarn here so that you can get an idea how the yarn looked like. And when I was knitting it, I also inserted some shells. Can you see those here? Into it. So it is a really funny rustic shawl, and it is very, very soft and very nice to wear, very warm. It's one of my favorite shawls. And the colors, you might want to ask, they were inspired by my first trip to Brazil. When I was in Brazil, I was seeing those colors everywhere, the red soil, the green jungle, some beach sand with a lot of shells in it, and of course the ocean. Next up is gonna be my works in progress. So this week I have the same works in progress as last week. Unfortunately, or luckily, maybe it's good that I am consistent with my projects. And the first one lives in this little bag that I made out of my hand-dyed fabrics. It is a pair of socks that I am knitting 2 at a time. So these are those socks. They are for a man as a gift, and I have passed a heel. I have made a heel flap and gusset heel, and I used some reinforcement thread to reinforce that heel, and additionally I used this slip stitch pattern to create a sturdy heel. And the heel turn is exactly like the one in the pattern of Hermione's Everyday Socks, which is a half handkerchief heel turn. I like how it is coming along. I like the 2 at a time knitting because it is much faster. Even though I'm not done yet, but this is just because it is 2 socks. If it would be 1 sock since last episode, I would probably have a sock to show you now. But the good thing is afterwards there are 2 socks and I don't need to cast on another one. Because I really don't like to knit the second sock. I think in the end, of course it's a bit more fiddly to knit it like this, but I think it is faster for me for 2 pairs. Also because there is less turning involved, and I still think that this is pretty portable. I can put it in this little bag and this fits into my backpack. I always go out of the house with a backpack. I am not really the handbag kind of girl. So the yarn that I am using for this pair of socks is this Alpha Spotlight City Wool that I bought in a Swiss department store. And something funny about this yarn that I shared with you already last episode is that it comes with this reinforcement thread, which I used for reinforcing the heel. My next work in progress is a sweater out of malabrigo yarn, and I have talked about this already last time. My project bag for this one is just this old shoe bag. When you buy a pair of these shoes, you get this nice fabric bag, and I use this for my sweater project. Actually, I did quite some progress with it. I apologize for any cat hair on it. It is spring and my cat is shedding like crazy, and I am knitting on the sofa and sometimes she comes and sits on my lap and it's just not possible to control. So here is my sweater. The pattern is the Fall Flower by Vera Sanon. It was originally released as a mystery knit-along, and it has a very interesting top-down construction that in the end looks like set-in sleeves. Okay, maybe now you can see that better than last episode. And yeah, I really like it. Here in the center we have a reverse linen stitch panel that goes all along the front or just to create this like faux Henley style. I will also put some buttons there in the end. And here under the arms, a little reverse stockinette dart is evolving right now. So I have also picked up the stitches for the neckline, and I have to say this is my favorite kind of neckline. If it is high in the back and lower in the front. I don't like those boat necks, or I don't know how they call it, scoop neck maybe, where the back is also lowered. Then yeah, you know what I mean. I don't like that when my back is open. I like to have it warm here in behind my shoulders. Yeah, and the yarn is malabrigo arroyo in the colorway pocion. Here is a skein of that yarn. I love those colors. It is actually, I have to say something about the yarn, about the colors. From skein to skein the variation is really, really big. And if you look here on the bottom, there is not so much red. I am alternating skeins, but I am also saving a bit of the yarn from the top for the sleeve, so that there is a smooth transition. So here at the top you can see there is a lot more of those red specks. And I have to say, those very, very bright red specks, I don't really love them so much. I would like to have it a bit more muted. So I am thinking about, I'm not sure yet if I'm gonna do that, but I'm thinking about throwing that into the sink when it is done with those red spots exposed, and pouring over some very dilute black acid dye in order to mute that red down. I think I'm gonna do that, but I am not 100% sure yet. This was my sweater. I think it's going very well, and I tried it on also, and it seems to fit me quite nicely. My final knitting project in progress is my blanket, which is my 2017 long-term project, and I'll try to show it to you. It is getting bigger, yeah, but it is probably a bit boring to see this one every episode. It is DK and worsted weight scraps that I am using. I am casting on 30 stitches per square, and I am using the memory blanket pattern by Georgie Nicholson. And my goal is to knit 1 square for each day of this year in order to have a finished blanket by the end of the year. And in the very beginning I was super motivated. By now I get a little more, yeah, it's like, oh no, I have to knit some more squares. It's not so much fun anymore, but I guess this is how it is with such a big project. It's a lot of knitting, and it is, each time now I add a square, not so much changes. In the beginning each square made a lot of difference, and you could see how the blanket was coming out, and now you can already kind of see how it will come out, and adding the squares is just some work to do. But I can already wear it as a shawl. It's already, if I would want to stop, I could always just wear it as a giant scarf and yeah, be happy with it. Yeah, so let's see how that goes. Oh, and I am also pretty good, this is the wrong side that I am showing you. I am pretty good at sewing in the ends, if you can see. I just left the ends of the bottom part so that when I join the new squares there, I can then use the end to maybe close some holes that are there in the corners, if it needs to be done. This is already it with my knitting projects. Super short, but I thought I will make a podcast episode anyway to show you, so not let you wait any longer. The next thing that is coming up is spinning. And here I have also the same project on my wheel as last episode. The last episode I was about to start it, and this is where I am. I am spinning yarn to knit socks out of it. And you can imagine that it takes some time because I have to spin quite fine. I want to make a 4-ply, a cable ply, which is you spin the singles and then you ply the singles once, and then you ply it again in order to get a 4-ply. So you ply the plied yarn back on itself, kind of. And I've also shown you this in the last episode, I have already a skein that is now really full of cat hair of such a cable plied yarn, and maybe you can see the texture here. It looks a bit like a cable. If you want to learn how to spin such a yarn, I recommend you the Spinner's Book of Yarn Design by, I think it is Sarah Anderson. Some Anderson. There are many Anderson knitters. It's not Susan B. Anderson, so I think it is Sarah Anderson, the author of this book. And you can learn a lot of different spinning techniques. I really recommend this book for beginners and for advanced spinners. It is a big library of information. Alright, so this was it with the spinning. And I am coming up with some dyeing news. This week I have been playing around with logwood in my kitchen, and I wanted to play around a bit more with natural dyeing because I get so much feedback from viewers about my natural dyeing. And it's funny because I think I would not really call myself an expert natural dyer. I guess I have dyed much more with acid yarn in my life than with natural dyes, but still people seem to be very fascinated about it, so I decided to maybe do a little bit more of it, and also I enjoy doing it if I have time, so I can share it with you guys on the podcast. And I had one dye planned in my box for quite some years now that I never used, and this is logwood. And so I decided to go ahead and dye some yarn with it. And this is the result. It is a wonderful purple. The top one is the first run of the color, and then the lighter one on the bottom is the second one that I got out of the pot. So some really, really beautiful shades. I like them very much. Even though I am principally not much of a purple person. If you could see my blanket, I think there is not really any purple in it because I don't have any, never knitted with purple yarns. But these guys made me fall in love. And I shared a picture on Instagram with you. I will insert it here, where you can see the comparison of these yarns with the flowers that we have outside our apartment right now. And it fits just really beautifully. It's amazing how these colors, you can really find them in nature. So what I did to get these tones is I used 25 grams of logwood chips, which is a wood, just some kind of wooden chips. I soaked them overnight and then I boiled them for an hour. And the yarn I mordanted in alum for 1 hour with 12% alum, which means 12 grams per 100 grams. And oh yeah, these 50 grams of logwood, with this I dyed 2 of these dark purple. I just brought one out here now. 2 of the dark purple and 2 of the light purple. So in total I have 400 grams of yarn. So these 50 grams really last a long way. Yeah, maybe I speak a bit about the pros and cons of acid dyeing versus natural dyeing. In my opinion, both have their place and both are very, very nice to do. Natural dyeing is an experience. It is amazing to see how you can get color out of plants and onto yarn. This is just, when you see how it happens, it is an amazing experience. And when you look at the yarn and imagine that this just came out of these wooden chips and now it is on the yarn, it is just fascinating. On the other hand, it takes a lot more time than acid dyeing, and it is not really predictable. You have to be open-minded and ready to accept maybe some disappointment or some unexpected results, or that maybe you even just get a light beige color and not what you wanted. And also that it takes a lot more time. You have to reserve one spot of your stove for the dye pot for a while, and maybe if you have to cook a large dinner or something, then this is not the right time to do natural dyeing, because also I prefer to set up my kitchen for dyeing and not cook at the same time. because you have also all these spoons and forks, no forks, just spoons lying around that you use for dyeing, and then I prefer to let that reserve for the kitchen, and then I eat some ready food or stuff like this. I don't cook at the same time. Sometimes when I just soak the yarn or so, that's okay, then I can cook at the same time, so I have to organize a little bit the use of the kitchen. But acid dyeing goes much faster because your color sets within 30 minutes. You don't need to prepare much, just need to soak the yarn a bit, but this is also not a big thing. You can also soak it in the bathroom or wherever, and so it is much faster and more instant gratification. And also you can choose the colors. If you know how to mix colors, if you have painted before, if you know a little about color theory, or if this comes intuitive to you as it does to me, then you know how to make a green, and you know how to make an orange, or whatever color you comes to your mind. And with acid dyes you can just mix them and get that color that you have in mind. And with blend dyeing, no, you cannot really do that. You can just hope, or if you have experience, for sure you can reproduce your results if you know what you're doing. But if you're a beginner, or I still count myself as a beginner, I would say. I know which plant gives which shade, but I don't really have enough experience to say to predict the deepness of the shade. And yeah, I mean, this is part of the fun. It's like a little discovery. So finally, I would like to talk a bit about some podcasts that I have been watching in the last 2 weeks. And first of all, I would like to mention the Yarn to Table podcast with Céleste, who is a very, very creative person. She has a beautiful choice of aesthetics, and everything that she chooses is very harmonic, and also her Instagram feed is pretty amazing and harmonic. Yeah, I think that's the right word. She's also a very calm person, and it's very pleasing experience to watch her podcast. So I would very much recommend that you go and check her out. The next podcast I would like to recommend is the KnitLib podcast with Suzen. She is an artist, and she is a very sparkling personality who does a lot of very original things, and I found it very inspirational. She also does some, what was it called? Some crochet technique, tapestry crochet, I think, that I found really interesting, and I want to learn more about that. So I'm gonna watch her more for sure. And you should as well. The next one that I would like to mention is the Corner of Craft podcast with Hannah. And Hannah is the neighbor of Becky from the Stringing It Together podcast. And they make a really cool duo, these two. I have only watched a couple of episodes from Hannah, and she does a lot of different crafts. She makes these beaded little animals. Do you call that beading? I am not sure. She makes some really amazing things, and she has also very interesting tutorials on her YouTube channel, and she's very outgoing and very creative. So go check out Hannah of the Corner of Craft podcast. The last one that I mentioned for today is Knitting Envy with Erin. She is a very cool person, and her favorite color is, like mine, green. So I can very much associate with the color choices that she does, and she knits really amazing things, and yeah, she is a very lovely personality, so go check her out. So this is it for this week. I would like to thank you once more for watching, and if you were watching for the first time, of course, I would like to thank you as well. And if you would like to get in touch with me, please come over to the Ravelry group or to Instagram and follow me or message me. I am very happy to meet you guys. And also I have now this website, dunkelgrun.com, which is a WordPress website, and you can follow me there also to be notified about new episodes. So, thank you very much everybody, and I hope you have a wonderful time and happy knitting. Bye!